Okay, this is chapter 14 of Good Girl, Bad Blood. 14. Hello? Yes, sorry, Pip closed her laptop, avoiding her mom's gaze. I was just saving something. What are those posters for? Pip snuffled. I think their meaning is pretty clear. Jamie's gone missing. Don't get smart with me, her mom said, one hand going to her hip, always a dangerous sign. Pip's dad paused, putting the groceries away, and leaned against the counter, almost exactly in the middle between Pip and her mom, yet far enough away that he was safe from the battle. He was good at that, making camp in the neutral ground, building a bridge. Yes, it is what you think, Pip said, finally meeting her mother's eyes. Connor and Joanna are really worried. They think something's happened to Jamie. So yes, I'm investigating his disappearance, and yes, I'm recording the investigation for season 2 of the show. They asked me to, and I said yes. But I don't understand, her mom said, even though she understood perfectly well, another of her tactics. You were done with all this. After everything you went through last time, the danger you put yourself in. I know, Pip began, but her mom cut her off. You ended up in the hospital, Pippa, with an overdose. They had to pump your stomach. You were threatened by a now convicted killer. That was the only way Pip's mom referred to Elliot Ward now. She couldn't use the word, what he'd really been, a friend. And Barney, Mom, I know, Pip said, her voice rising, cracking as she fought to control it. I know all the terrible things that happened last year because of me. I don't need your constant reminders. I know, okay? I know I was selfish. I know I was obsessive. I know I was reckless. And if I said sorry to you every day, it still wouldn't be enough, okay? Pip felt it, the pit in her stomach stirring, opening up to swallow her whole. I'm sorry. I feel guilty all the time, so I don't need you to tell me. I'm the expert on my own mistakes. I understand. So why would you choose to put yourself through anything like that again? Her mom said, softening her voice and dropping the hand from her hip. Pip couldn't tell what that meant, whether it was a sign of victory or defeat. A high, cartoonish giggling from the living room interrupted them. Joshua, her dad finally spoke. Turn the TV down, please. But it's SpongeBob, and it's only on 14, a small voice shouted back. Joshua? Okay, okay. The noise from the TV lowered, until Pip could no longer hear it over the humming in her ears. Her dad settled back into his place, gesturing for them to continue. Why? Her mom reiterated her last question, drawing a thick underline beneath it. Because I have to, Pip said. And if you want to know the truth, I said no. That was my choice. I told Connor I couldn't do this again. So yesterday I went to speak to the police to get them to actually investigate Jamie's disappearance. I thought I could help that way. But they won't do anything for Jamie. They can't. Pip tucked her hands under her elbows. The truth is, I had to do it once the police said no. I didn't want to do it, but I can't not do it. The Reynoldses asked me. They came to me. And what if I'd said no? What if Jamie is never found? What if he is dead? Pip, it's not your job to. It isn't my job, but it feels like my responsibility, she said, cutting her mom off. I know you'll both have 1,000 arguments why that's not true, but I'm telling you the way it feels. It is my responsibility because I started something and I can't now take it back. Whatever it did to me, to all of us, I still solved a double murder case last year. Now I have 600,000 subscribers who will listen to me, and I'm in a position to use that to help people, to help Jamie. That's why I had no choice. I might not be the only one who can help, but I'm the only one here right now. This is Jamie, Mom. I can't live with myself if something happened to him, and I'd said no because it was the easier choice, the safer choice, the choice my parents would want me to make. That's why I'm doing it. Not because I want to, because I have to. I've accepted that, and I hope you both can too. Pip saw her dad out of the corner of her eye, nodding, the LED above drawing yellow streaks across the dark skin of his forehead. Her mom also saw it, turning to frown at him. Victor, she said. Leanne, he replied, stepping forward into no man's land. Clearly, she's not being reckless. She's putting a lot of consideration into her decision. That's all we can ask of her, because it is her decision. She's 18 now. He turned to smile at Pip, his eyes glazing in that way they did. The exact way he looked at her every time he told the story of how they'd met. Pip, at 4 years old, stomping around this very house he was looking to buy, accompanying her mom to the showing because the childcare had fallen through. She'd followed them into each room, giving him a new animal fact in each one, despite her mother telling her to be quiet so she could inform the nice man about the high-spec kitchen. He always said it was both of them who stole his heart that day. Pip returned his smile, and that hole in her stomach. It started to shrink just a little, freeing up more space for her around it. "And what about the risks, Victor?" Pip's mom said, though her tone had changed now, the fight all but gone from it. "Everything has risks," he said, "even crossing the road. It's no different from when she was a journalist or a police officer. And would we keep her from either of those things because of the potential risks? And also, I am very big. If anyone even thinks about hurting my daughter, I will rip off their head." Pip laughed, and her mom's mouth twitched into a smile she didn't want to give into. The smile lost for now, though it gave a good fight. "Fine," her mom said. "Pip, I'm not your enemy, I'm your mom. I only care about your safety and your happiness, the two things you lost last time. It's my job to protect you, whether you like it or not. So fine, I accept your decision, but I will be watching to make sure you don't become obsessive to the point where it's unhealthy, and you better believe me when I say there will be no missing school or neglecting your studies," she said, counting the points off on her fingers. "I'm sure everything is fine, but if there is any sign of danger, even the slightest hint, I want you to come straight to us. Promise me." "Thank you," Pip nodded, her chest releasing. "It won't be like last time, I promise." She wasn't that person anymore. She'd be good this time. She would. Things would be different, she told the yawning feeling that never left her. "But I should warn you, I don't think everything is fine. Put it this way, I don't think you'll see Jamie at work tomorrow morning." Her mom's face flushed, and she dropped her gaze, tightening her lips into a line. Of all her mother's faces, Pip wasn't sure what this one meant. "Well," her mom said quietly, "all I'm saying is that Jamie is probably okay, and I'm sure this will turn out to be nothing. That's why I don't want you to give too much of yourself to it." "Well, I mean, hopefully it's nothing," Pip said, taking the bag of apples her dad handed her and placing them in the fruit bowl. "But there are a couple of red flags. His phone was turned off that night and hasn't been on since, and he was acting strangely that day, out of character." Her mom placed a loaf of bread in the bread box. "Well, maybe acting strangely isn't that out of character for Jamie." "Wait, what?" Pip stalled, pulling back from the box of oatmeal her dad was handing her. "Oh, nothing," her mom said, busying herself with the canned tomatoes. "I shouldn't have said anything." "Said anything about what?" Pip said, her heart jumping up to her throat, sensing her mom's unease. She narrowed her eyes at the back of her mom's head. "Mom, do you know something about Jamie?" A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Season 2. Interview with Mom. Pip. "Mom, wait, hold on. I've set up the microphones now. Can you tell me what you were going to say about Jamie?" "Mom, you have to come closer to the microphone. It can't pick up from over there." "Please, can you just sit down and tell me what it is, whatever it is?" "Need to get started on dinner." I know, this will only take a few minutes. Please, what did you mean by acting strangely?" "Acting strangely isn't that out of character for Jamie. Are you talking about something that happened at work?" "Joanna said Jamie was working a later shift on Friday before the memorial. Was he acting strangely then? Is that what you mean? Please, Mom, this could really help the investigation." No, I shouldn't. It's not my business, and this isn't the kind of thing I should be saying publicly anyway. I could get fired." "Jamie's missing. It's been almost 2 full days. He could be in danger. I don't think he'd care what's anyone's business right now. And I'll edit out the details. I need to protect you, obviously. But Joanna, she's the one who asked me to do this. She'd accept she might learn things about Jamie she wouldn't want to know." Does Joanna think Jamie still works at Proctor and Radcliffe? Is that what he told her?" "Yeah, of course. What do you mean? He does work there. He was at work on Friday before he went missing. Jamie doesn't work at the agency anymore. He left maybe 2.5 weeks ago." "He left? Did he quit? His family has no idea. They still think he works with you. He's been going to work every day. Why would he quit and lie about it?" He didn't quit." "What?" "Pip." "Mom." "There was an incident, but I don't really want to talk about it. It has nothing to do with anything. My point was just that maybe Jamie disappearing isn't something so out of character, and why cause trouble for him when— Mom, he's missing. Anything that happened in the past few weeks could be relevant. Anything. Joanna won't be angry if you tell. I know she won't. What was the incident? When? Well, it must have been a Wednesday because Todd wasn't in, and Sabana and Olivia, oh my god, and Olivia were, but they were out on showings. Wednesday 2 weeks ago, so that was the 8th? That sounds about right. I'd gone to lunch, went to see Jackie in the cafe, and left Jamie in the office alone. And when I got back, well, I must have been quicker than he expected because he... What? What was he doing? He had my key somehow. He must have taken it out of my purse earlier in the day and used it to unlock my desk drawer when I was out. I walked in on him taking the company credit card out of my drawer. What? He panicked when I came in. He was shaking. He tried several excuses as to why he was taking the card, said he needed the info so he could order more envelopes, then said Todd asked him to do something for him. But I knew he was lying, and Jamie knew I wasn't buying it. So then he just started apologizing over and over again, said he was sorry. He just needed the money, and he said something like, I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't life or death. Life or death? What did he mean by that? I don't know. I'm guessing he wanted to take the card to an ATM and withdraw a few $100s. Can you take money out on a credit card? Yes, you can. I mean, you wouldn't under normal circumstances, but that's the impression I got. Jamie knew the PIN because I'd sent him out with that card to get office supplies before. I don't know why he needed the money, but clearly he was desperate. We'd never had any problems with Jamie before this. I'd offered him the job to help him out, to help Joanna and Arthur out because Jamie had been struggling to settle anywhere. He's a very sweet young man, has been since he was a kid. The Jamie I walked in on felt almost like a different person. He looked so scared, so sorry. He must have been desperate because he would have known that if he'd managed to steal the cash, you'd have found out eventually. Why did he need money so urgently? I never asked. I just told him to put the card down and return my key, and I wouldn't call the police. I didn't need to make any more trouble for him. It looked like he had enough going on, whatever it was. And I would have felt too guilty calling the police on one of my friend's children in trouble. You don't do that. So I told Jamie I wouldn't tell anyone what I had seen and that he could no longer work at Procter & Radcliffe and his contract would be terminated immediately. That I'd made up some other reason. I told him he needed to straighten out his life or I'd have to tell Joanna eventually. He thanked me for not calling the police, said thank you for the opportunity in the first place, and then he left. The last thing he said on his way out was, I'm so sorry. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't have to. What did he need the money for? He didn't say, but he was willing to steal from the company and get caught. What else could he have needed the money for, except, well, something illegal? Well, maybe, but that doesn't mean his disappearance 2 weeks later isn't suspicious or out of character. If anything, this makes me more certain Jamie's in trouble, that he got himself mixed up in something dangerous. I certainly never thought he'd be the sort to steal. Ever. And the only reason he gave you was that it was life or death? That's what he said. Yes. Whose life or death did he mean?